When it comes to forecasting and viewing the aurora here in Michigan, there is a complex set of things that have to happen and come together both here on space and on Earth to it to be viewed here in Michigan. And this video will be part one, breaking down how to forecast the aurora. Part one will be a very simple introduction to it, and part two will dive more in depth. It'll probably be a lot longer than this video is going to be. I'll try and keep it as short as possible, but there's a lot of stuff to kind of go over. So if you don't have a pen or maybe some notes ready, I would suggest writing these down for you to remember these and utilize them next time the aurora is possible in Michigan. So first and foremost of all, I'll go ahead and throw this scenario out, okay? I want to just imagine in the moment, it's a Friday night, kids are home from school or you have nothing going on, and we post or you see a post somewhere, maybe it's on our page, maybe it's on Facebook, or maybe it's a news saying that, hey, we have northern lights potential tonight. And you go, oh, that's cool, I want to go see them. What time is best? And here is where I will cut you guys off. When you ask what time is best for viewing the aurora, the answer is always going to be we don't know. Okay. It's nothing personal. We're not trying to be rude or be standoffish. It's just simply we don't know. And I'll explain this as best as possible. When these ejections, if you don't know, northern lights or aurora happen as a result of a coronal mass ejection firing off the sun directed at Earth. All we really have to measure that ejection is its speed. We estimate from the speed when it will arrive at Earth. That is all we can go off of. We do have some models, but the models, again, are based strictly off the wind, or not the winds, but strictly off the speed of that ejection off the sun's surface. That is all we have to go off of. Okay. And that is also why we do not know. The best forecasts for aurora will happen within that 3-day period. But when it gets to the night of when we expect the ejection to arrive, we're not going to see that ejection on satellites until 5 to 8 hours, sometimes as little as 1 hour. We do have two main satellites called Stereo A, which is about 5 to 8 hours off away from Earth. But sometimes that is offset from Earth, so the data from that is not always accurate. The main thing we use is called ACE. Now, the ACE satellite is about an hour away from Earth, okay? So many of you who are watching this probably have an Aurora app or a notification somewhere on your phone. Not everybody, but I'm sure most of you do. I'm going to go ahead and say those apps are good for notifying. Usually, there are some apps that are pretty bad and some apps that are pretty good, but they're usually pretty good about giving you an alert for those aurora when the KP index is getting high. We'll go ahead and get down and break these all down a little bit later on if you don't know what the KP index is. But usually they're good for the alerts. The forecasts, though, throw those out. The only forecast you need is directly from the SWPC. I'm going to show you the data you can actually forecast in real time as well. So what I want you guys to do, you can save this website. You can do it now with me. Whatever you want to do, just save this for future reference. Instead of using these apps for forecasting, go to swpc.noaa and hit enter. You're going to see this homepage, NOAA NWS Space Weather Prediction Center. Click it. And you have reached the dashboard of the Space Weather Prediction Center. You scroll down a little bit here, you're going to have a bunch of numbers here. You're going to go, I don't know any of this. And I'm going to break it down so simply for you, you're not going to want to touch an app ever again. I hope not. But the main thing when it comes to aurora and forecasting are two things on this website. There's many different things on this website, but pay attention to these two things. Number one, your BZ. Your BZ value needs to be in the negative, as far down in the negatives as you can go. This -2 number, it's okay. You may get aurora in northern Michigan if this BZ stays -2 for a long period of time. But the biggest aurora storms happen when the BZ is below -10. You want that number to be as low as possible. How low can you go? It applies here. The best storms happen when the BZ is -15, -20, or lower. I've seen it as low as -30 before. It can go low. Okay. The longer that BZ number stays, the higher the hemispheric power will rise. If you scroll down here, the second number you want to look for on this is the ovation chart. You guys see how I did that? Hit this, you have the dashboard. You scroll down here just a bit, the Aurora, this map right here. Click it. A lot of you are going to scroll down here and say, oh, well, the green's not hitting Michigan, or it's only a 10% probability over here. Pay no attention to the probability. Pay no attention to this green oval. Okay. Oftentimes, this green oval will not be in Michigan when the aurora is active in Michigan. So pay no attention and don't get your hopes down just because it's not in Michigan. The number you want to pay attention to is right up here at the top right. HPI, Hemispheric Power Index. You want the HPI depending on where you are in Michigan. With 36.3 here, you may get aurora in northern, like UP, maybe down to Gaylord area. Possible. So right now, November 6th at 10 p.m., we may have aurora in northern Michigan right now based off this HPI model. Now, when you live, say, Lansing, if you live in southern central Michigan, so Detroit, Ann Arbor, down to the border of Indiana, Ohio, Lansing, anywhere, maybe Port Austin and the Thumb, Grand Rapids, you want this HPI number to be 60, 70, 80, or higher. As high as you can get is better. Last night, I know you guys are probably going to watch this at various times, but November 5th, we had HPI reach 140 for dark side of Earth. It was daytime here in the USA, but it was dark side of Earth for Russia, those areas, Ukraine, Crimea. The HPI reached 140, and they had the aurora at latitudes equal to North Carolina when the HPI was 140. So once you get the HPI up over 100, it's a pretty good sign that aurora is going to happen in Michigan, perhaps the entire state. When you have the HPI, I say that the threshold I want to set is right around 80 or so, as close to 80 as possible if you want to see it in southern Michigan. But again, 36, I'll say 36 or 30 through about 50 is good for northern parts of Michigan. So again, pay no attention to this green oval here just because it's not in Michigan. It's fine. HPI is the only thing you want to look at. The last thing I can kind of show you guys here on this is up here where you see these boxes, the RNS, don't pay attention to those. But right here, the G2, the G1 here, you're going to see the 24-hour observed maximum was a G2 that happened last night, which was November 5th, 2023. The latest observed, which is recent, this is actually kind of matters here, it's G1. So right now there is a G1 warning equivalent to a KP5 index. If you guys have no idea what that means, well, here we go. We just posted this on our page, and this holds true. This is the KPNG index in relation to where you are in Michigan. So the green up on the northern part of Michigan, KP4, can happen. The aurora can happen in the UP. G1 warnings is the lowest solar storm level and is equivalent to KP5, can bring the lights down all the way to around that Mount Pleasant area. And then KP6 and G2 storms down to the border. The stronger G2 storms will bring it down to the border overhead. The weaker G2 you may be able to see on the horizon down by the borders of Ohio and Indiana. I hope this video was informative. I really hope you guys utilize this tool. Next time you want to ask, when can I see the aurora? Well, hop on here, and I'll cover one more thing here that I did not cover. This data right here you see is delayed approximately 1 hour. So when you see this BZ number, if it's negative, hold it for an hour or so, and that will rise the HPI. And about an hour after seeing that BZ number drop, you will see the result here on Earth. This is coming from a satellite, which is about an hour away from Earth. So with that being said, I hope this video was informative to you. The next video will dive more in depth. We'll actually look at how to look at ejections. We'll look at the solar speed, look at density. We'll look at a few other important tools when it comes to forecasting the aurora. This is just the very basics. A lot more goes into it. So I hope you guys stick around for part two. And thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate every one of you.